Nathaniel Crowley didn't stop for red lights, let alone strangers. But on 12th and Jefferson, he told his driver to pull over. No warning, just a quiet, "Stop the car." "Sir?" the driver asked, confused. Nathaniel was already leaning toward the tinted glass, staring at a figure slumped beside a trash bin. A woman, maybe in her 60s, maybe older, it was hard to tell through the grime. Matted grey hair, blankets pulled tight against her frame. She wasn't panhandling, just sitting there, still, like she'd become part of the concrete. The door opened. Nathaniel stepped out into the cold. His shoes splashed in a puddle. He didn't care. He approached slowly, each step heavier than the last. The woman looked up. "Barely. Spare change," she rasped, without even seeing him. Nathaniel crouched down. Her eyes met his. Blue-grey, clouded with time, but something in them reached back through the fog of his memory and clawed at his ribs. "I think you're my mom," he said softly. The wind carried the words away almost as fast as he said them. She blinked, then chuckled. "Wrong guess, rich man. What's your name?" She hesitated. "Carol. Carol DeWitt." His breath caught. He felt it in his chest, the slow unraveling of everything he believed was gone forever. "My birth certificate, if it only said a Carol D. I never found anything more. I've been looking for years." She narrowed her eyes. "And you think I'm your missing mommy?" "I don't think. I feel it. I see it. You look exactly like her." Carol laughed again, bitter and low. "Son, if I had a kid rich enough to ride around in cars like that," she nodded at the Rolls-Royce, "I wouldn't be sitting here, now would I?" Nathaniel looked down. "I'm not here to insult you. I just need to know. You need to leave me alone. I can help you," he said. "Shelter. Food. Clothes. No cameras. No charity. You all say the same thing. I mean it." She turned away. "You don't know me. Don't pretend you do. I want to run a DNA test. That's all. Just a swab. I'll pay you for your time." Her shoulders tensed. "I don't need your money. You need the truth. So do I." She didn't answer. He stood, heart pounding. "I'll be back in 2 hours. If you're here, I'll take care of everything." He turned and walked away. 2 hours later, Nathaniel returned with a medical technician and a fresh coffee in hand. Carol hadn't moved. He crouched again and held out the drink. Still cold. She took the cup. Didn't thank him. Just sipped. "I brought someone who can do the test. Right here. No needles. Just your cheek." Carol stared at the technician, then at Nathaniel. "You think this will fix something inside you?" "No," he said. "I don't think anything ever will. But I have to try." She sighed. "Fine. But I want hot food after." Nathaniel nodded. The swab was quick. Silent. She didn't flinch. He handed her a hotel keycard. "Rooms already paid for. Clean clothes inside. No staff will bother you." She looked at the card, then back at him. "You sure I'm not just a ghost?" He didn't answer. He couldn't. That night, Nathaniel sat alone in his penthouse. A drink in hand. DNA results pending. The lights of Manhattan glowed beyond the windows, but his focus stayed fixed on a single photo in his palm, a worn, creased image of a young woman cradling a baby. Her eyes were tired. The same eyes. His phone buzzed at 2:11 a.m. "Results available. Tap to view." He opened the file. Maternity, 0%. Carol DeWitt was not his biological mother. His fingers trembled. The phone dropped onto the carpet. For 37 years, he'd held on to hope. Not every day, but in quiet moments. The hope that maybe, just maybe, his mother was out there, wondering where he'd gone. And now? Nothing. Except, he remembered her eyes. The way she stared after the swab. The way her hand trembled when she took the hotel keycard. And how, when she thought he wasn't looking, she wiped away a tear. The DNA test said no. Cold, absolute. Carol DeWitt was not Nathaniel Crowley's mother. But the next morning, he found himself standing in front of her hotel door anyway. Room 816. His heart raced like he was 20 again, about to pitch his first startup. He knocked. Silence. Then shuffling feet. The door cracked open. Carol peered through, eyes tired, but dry. "I thought the test told you I wasn't her," she muttered. "I know," he said. "But I still want to talk." She opened the door wider. The room smelled like soap and fresh sheets. The heater hummed. Carol looked cleaner, but still fragile, like a painting restored just enough to see what it once was. Nathaniel stepped inside. "I need to ask you something," he said. "Where are you from?" She sat slowly in the chair by the window. I don't remember everything, she said. Too many shelters. Too many years. But I was born in New Jersey. Raised in Philly. I came to New York after. She stopped. After what? Carol looked out the window. After I lost someone. He waited. Not a son, she added quickly. A sister. Twin. We were close when we were little. Got separated in foster care. I searched for years, then gave up. Nathaniel leaned forward. You had a twin? Yeah, she said. I think she went to a family on Long Island. But that was a lifetime ago. His brain fired off 1,000 directions. What was her name? Carol frowned. Clara. Clara DeWitt. We were both wards of the state. Nathaniel sat back, stunned. That's my mother's name. Carol blinked. Excuse me. My sealed adoption file, it says Mother, Clara D. That's it. No last name. No photo. Carol's fingers gripped the edge of the chair. That's impossible. No, it's not, Nathaniel whispered. You're not my mother. But you're her sister. The air thickened. Carol's face broke, just slightly. She had a baby. I was born in 1988, he said. Left at a hospital. No explanation. Just a name. Then adopted. Carol stood slowly. Her knees cracked. She walked to the dresser, opened a small pouch she'd brought with her, and pulled out something yellowed and torn. It was half a photo. 2 little girls in matching dresses, maybe 6 years old. Holding hands. Clara had this birthmark, she said, pointing to the girl on the right. On her neck. Like a crescent moon. Nathaniel didn't breathe. He reached for his wallet and took out the only photo he had from the state records, a baby held in a woman's arms. The woman's face was unclear, but on her neck was the birthmark. He passed it to her. Carol gasped. Sat down. Hard. My God, she whispered. That's her. That's Clara. Nathaniel's throat tightened. Then that's me. Her eyes welled with tears, but she wiped them away before they fell. She didn't abandon you. Not Clara. She would never. Then what happened? Carol stared at the photo again. She ran away from her foster family when she was 16. Said the dad was wrong. I never saw her again. Just got a postcard once from Manhattan. Then silence. Nathaniel leaned forward. Why would she use your name on the hospital form? Carol laughed softly. She always did that. Said she didn't want anyone finding her. She'd sign forms with my name. Drove teachers crazy. So the woman he found wasn't his mother. But she might be the only person alive who knew her. Nathaniel sat still for a moment. Then stood. Come with me. Where? Somewhere you deserve to see. An hour later, Carol stepped into Nathaniel's penthouse for the first time. The floors gleamed. The windows stretched to the sky. But she didn't look impressed. She went straight to the shelf of family photos. None of these people are your blood, she said. No, Nathaniel admitted. But they gave me a good life. Even if they never talked about where I came from. She nodded slowly. You grew up soft. I grew up alone. They sat across from each other. A silence passed, not empty. Just heavy. I don't know where Clara went, Carol said finally. I looked for her until I stopped believing I'd ever find her. Nathaniel spoke carefully. Will you let me help you now? Carol looked away. I can get you off the street. Permanently. A place of your own. You wouldn't owe me anything. She scoffed. That's what they all say. I mean it. Carol rubbed her hands together. Her fingers were raw, cracked. She'd never worn a ring, never had a child of her own. Maybe I can help you, she said. Piece it together. I still remember some things, her favorite places, the people she hung around. Names. If she's out there. Nathaniel looked her in the eyes. Then we'll find her. That night, he opened a file on his desk and wrote a new heading. Project Clara. Carol slept in the guest suite down the hall, wrapped in clean linens, her body trembling from the weight of unfamiliar safety. And Nathaniel, for the first time in his life, felt like he was no longer chasing ghosts. He'd found something real. Not his mother, but her sister. And now, maybe a second chance. 3 weeks passed. Carol no longer looked like someone who lived on the street. Her hair was washed, trimmed. The lines on her face still told the story of hardship, but her eyes were sharper now. Awake. She wore simple clothes Nathaniel had picked out, but she always chose the grey hoodie with the hole in the sleeve. Familiarity, maybe. Or maybe a reminder. Nathaniel had a private investigator working full-time on Project Clara. His name was Leo Park. Ex-cop. Quiet. Sharp eyes. He didn't talk much, but every report he brought hit like thunder. Clara DeWitt vanished in 1989. The paper trail ended cold. No phone records, no employment, no bank accounts. But then Leo found something. I pulled archived hospital intake logs, Leo told Nathaniel, tossing down a scanned file. There was a Jane Doe admitted to Bellevue in March 1989. Gave birth. Said her name was Clara, no last name. Vanished the next morning. Left the baby behind. Nathaniel's heart stopped. That's the month I was born. Leo nodded. She used no ID. Signed in with a fake address. Nurses said she seemed scared. Said someone was after her. They thought she had postpartum psychosis. They never found her. Carol sat quietly beside Nathaniel, holding the edge of the table like it was the only thing keeping her from floating away. Is there anything else? Nathaniel asked. Leo reached into his folder. This was found in an evidence box. It was never claimed. Stayed in Bellevue storage until the wing was cleared out last year. Ended up in city archives. Took a favor to pull it. He dropped a sealed envelope on the table. The name on the front, scrawled in shaking ink. To my baby boy. From your mom, Clara. Nathaniel stared at it. The room fell silent. He reached for the letter with trembling hands and opened it slowly, carefully, as if the paper might shatter. The handwriting inside was uneven. Words pressed hard into the page, like she was writing with panic in her chest. My sweet boy. I don't know your name yet. I don't know who will raise you. But I need you to know one thing. I love you. I always will. They're looking for me. I did something bad to escape a worse thing. I'm sorry. I want to hold you forever, but if I stay, they'll take you from me, or worse. So I'm doing the hardest thing. I'm letting you go. Not because I don't love you, but because I do. That's why. I named you Nathaniel in my heart. After my father. No one else knows. If someone finds this letter, I hope they give it to you. I hope you're safe. I hope you're kind. I hope you don't hate me. Love always. Mom, Clara. Nathaniel wiped his eyes, but the tears kept coming. He read it again. And again. Like it was the oxygen he hadn't known he was missing his whole life. Carol stood behind him, hand on his shoulder. She named you Nathaniel, she whispered. Before she ever knew who you'd become. The next day, Nathaniel walked into a press conference. Not as a CEO. Not as a tech mogul. But as Clara's son. He told the story, every part of it. How he found Carol. The DNA test. The letter. He didn't want cameras. He didn't want praise. He just wanted one thing. Help me find her, he said. If she's alive, I'll give everything I have to bring her home. Not because I need closure, but because she deserves peace. Thousands shared the story. Police reopened cold files. Messages poured in from all over the country, some hopeful, some cruel, but one stood out. It came from a nurse. Retired, now living in Buffalo. I saw her, the message said. She lived in a women's shelter near Niagara in the early 2000s. She went by Clara D. She had nightmares. Screamed in her sleep. Said she left a baby in New York. Said her sister would hate her forever. Nathaniel and Carol flew out the same day. The shelter was gone, replaced by a shopping plaza. But the records had been transferred to a local agency. They showed Clara had stayed there for 8 months before disappearing again. A counselor had left a note. Subject deeply paranoid. Refuses to give full name. Mentions sister frequently. Feels she's being watched. Then one more line. Last seen boarding a bus headed west. Said she was going to Montana. Nathaniel stared at the word. Montana. The same state he'd looked at land in last year for a retreat center. He turned to Carol. Let's go. They arrived in a small town outside Bozeman. Snow on the rooftops. Pines bending with weight. Leo had tracked down a woman living under the name Claire Daniels. No records. No social security. Paid in cash. Worked at a local church. Lived in the back of a thrift shop. Nathaniel stepped through the door. A small bell rang. Behind the counter, a woman in her 50s looked up. Brown hair streaked with grey. Frail frame. Eyes that held storms. Her mouth opened slightly, like she'd seen a ghost. Nathaniel took one step forward. Are you Clara DeWitt? She didn't answer. Just started to cry. Carol entered behind him. Clara's knees buckled. Oh my God, she whispered. Is it real? Nathaniel walked to her slowly. No cameras. No crowd. Just silence between people who'd waited too long. You're not in trouble, he said. I thought they'd forgotten me, she said. I thought he would hate me. I didn't forget, Nathaniel said. And I never hated you. I just missed you. Clara reached out, touching his face like she needed to confirm he wasn't a dream. Carol wrapped her arms around her twin. The two women sobbed into each other, shaking, holding decades of pain between their shoulders. Clara whispered, "I thought I was lost forever." Nathaniel held them both. "No one's lost," he said, "until we stop looking."